Hello, this is StyleCon coming at you today from the Mezza Cafe in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. Smoking on my nice little stogie. It's a Payback by Room 101. Have my Panerai on and enjoying this beautiful day today. This is going to be a second part to the tutorial I'm doing. I just did video 102. This is going to be 102A. And what I didn't hit on the first part is for new beginners or somebody that just wants to buy that one watch and then they're done, you might want to consider pre-owned watches. You can definitely get more bang for the buck. You can get yourself into something that's a little more luxurious and you save a lot of money in the long run. You're not the one that's going to get hit with that depreciation from the initial purchase. So you might want to consider that also. Considering what your budget may be, $500, $1,000. I'm going to use this video, top dollar being $1,500 and under. And on that note, I would consider a Tag. If you check out some of these other YouTubers, they bash Tag. Tag's a good watch. It's a recognizable watch. Like I said, I talked in part A about some Mido watches, which isn't a known brand. Talked about the Helson watches, the Steinhardts of the world. They're not the most popular watches. Unless you're a watch insider, you're probably not going to know these brands. So if you're trying to impress someone, maybe that girl you've been eyeing up, it's like, ooh, let me get a nice watch and maybe she'll date me or whatever it is. Or you want to impress your boss at work, you might want to consider going pre-owned. And a pre-owned Tag, there's nothing wrong with it. You could probably go pre-owned Omega. Depending upon how hard you look, once again, but this is not going to be a watch on the beaten path, but they have great resale value. There's a brand called Sinn, S-I-N-N. They make excellent watches, in my opinion. They do hold their value. Sometimes you can find them on places $1,200 to about $1,500. You're not going to get the top of the line one, but you're going to get a nice watch that's well made. I cannot stress that enough. These watches are extremely well built. Look into it. There's enough videos on YouTube. Go to their website, read up on them. Like I said, I'm not here to tell you what to do and how to spend your money, but do your research for yourself. So that way, if you decide you want to listen to my opinions with the Sinn or the used Tags or the used Omegas of the world, that way you're not like, hey, Style, you just fucked me, man. No, I'm not trying to screw you. I'm trying to give you advice. And needless to say, if you do your research on your end of the bargain, mine is to help you out. Yours is to do your research so that way you know which is a good buy for you. But I would go with these three brands. I mean, it's sometimes, but you might find a beat up Breitling. I've seen some of them go for $1,500. You're not going to get the best of condition, but you can get a Breitling for around $1,500 if you look hard. So a pre-owned watch is another alternative to the beginner or somebody that just wants to buy a good watch, just one watch. If you're coming out of college, you're trying to land that first job. My son's getting a little older. If I could give him any advice, it would be buy yourself, if you like it, a used Rolex and buy yourself a used Lexus. I would say BMW or Mercedes, but needless to say, they don't hold their value anymore, and then they're not as well built as a Lexus. Just get yourself a little used ES 300 or something like that, a 350, and buy yourself a little used Rolex. People think you're doing very well for yourself. And those are my recommendations. Once again, these are opinions, or that my opinions. You may disagree. You have every right to, but I think as a beginner collector or somebody that just wants that one watch, this is another avenue. Now, on that note, I wouldn't buy anything that's vintage. Like, you can find some Zeniths out there. You can find some Girard-Perregaux out there for not a lot of money. And I've seen one guy do a video on Girard-Perregaux, and he said they go up. No, Girard-Perregaux has horrible resale value. If you check them out, like the new stuff on eBay, you'll see 50 to 70% discounts, and I'll tell you the reasoning why. Baselworld, the big show, they'll take an order for $30,000 or 30,000 watches, and what they'll do is they'll make 50,000 watches, but they don't have any sales for the 20. So what they do is they flood the market with those 20 just to get rid of them, and then that reduces their resale value. So you don't want to do that, but you don't want to, even though I'm going off on a tangent, you don't want to buy vintage. And the reasoning being, first, they're delicate watches. They don't make them, as they used to say, they don't make them like they used to. No, with watches have become better than what they used to be. So the movements are more delicate. The seals aren't like what they were or are now. Basically, you know, if you get caught out in the rain, you can damage some of these watches. I mean, they're vintage and they're not selling for a lot of money for a particular reason. And that reason is they might need more servicing. The parts might be harder to find unless the watchmaker can make the parts themselves, which can decrease the value of the watch if you don't keep it original. So that's one of those things I wouldn't get into. If that's what you want to do, feel free, go ahead, spend your money on a vintage watch, but I would try to stay away from like the Zeniths of the world, the Girard Perregaux. If you find a vintage Patek Philippe or an Audemars Piguet, if it's going to be an occasional watch, I would buy it. But if you plan on using it as an everyday driver, do not buy it. Stay away. Check it out. Check out some of the videos on YouTube about people that bought Audemars Piguet and Pateks. When it comes time to needing these watches serviced, you might pay more than what the watch is worth. I'll give you a quick story. And this is why I know what I know. I bought a Girard Perregaux, used, vintage. I think it was a 1960 or 65. Had it for a little while. I didn't wear it every day because I knew this isn't an everyday watch. Well, started giving me some problems. Started losing too much time. So I take it to my repair guy. Repair guy says, "Hey Keith, you know, this is going to cost you this much money." I said, "Well, I didn't pay that much money for the watch." I said, I'm not trying to spend that kind of money to get this thing repaired because I'll never recoup my money. Say if I spent $500 and he wanted $800 to have it repaired, that goes $1,300, and I can only get what, $400 if I sell it? So I was like, nah. I said, I'm not going to do it. Now what I did, and what I would recommend anybody here to do, I donated that watch to the National Watch and Clock Museum in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And when you donate a watch, first you have to send it in, a picture of it to the curator. If they like it, they'll tell you can either send it in to them or you can drop it off. I'm close enough, I dropped the watch off. But they'll give you a tax form. So basically what I did, I got my little tax form from them. I wrote the watch off so I didn't lose a dime. And then they actually had a repair facility. I told them it wasn't working. They were willing to repair it at their own dime, since they have their own repair facility there. And they took care of everything. And I got my money back. So stay away from those vintage watches if you can. Or if you have the money, more money than God, and you can afford it when things go wrong, go ahead and do so. But once again, this is Style Con. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. I do plan on making more content in the near future. So if you like what I'm talking about, you like what I'm doing, please subscribe. And as usual, I'll see you in the next video.